Alright guys, can you see my browser? You are able to see my screen, right? Oh, okay. Okay, it's alright, perfect. So you can see, you guys can see my screen, so let's get started. Hi everyone, this is Vikas and welcome to the Selenium Day 3 session. Today, yesterday we talked about writing the first Selenium WebDriver automation program. Okay, this is what we learned. So we learned few things. Let's go back and see what we learned. So we learned that Selenium 3 onwards, you need to write system.setProperty webdriver.geckodriver.driver. This is for Firefox. You should download Gecko driver, save it, and then you need to give that path here. So in Java, whenever you are writing any path, you need to write double backward slashes or a single forward slash. Akhil, I already shared that screen. Akhil and Akshay, can you please check? And then this is the line which is actually creating instance of Firefox driver. When I call Firefox driver, when I create object of Firefox driver, it basically launches my browser. Then driver.manager.window.maximize. This line will actually maximize my browser in a full screen mode. Not exactly a full screen, but yeah, maximizing, that full window. Then we learn about the implicit wait. Implicit wait is helpful, in some cases like synchronization issue occurs, I'm trying to find an element, but which is not there on a screen. So by default, WebDriver will wait for 30 seconds implicitly until that element is getting displayed on a screen. Let's say that element is displayed within first 5 seconds, then the remaining 25 seconds wait will be saved and WebDriver will continue its execution. Driver.get method, this method takes URL as a parameter and it opens that URL in a browser. Driver.find element by linked text. This is an example of a linked text how to use. It will give me the web element with the linked text forget password and it will click on that. String get URL is equal to driver.get current URL. This is going to give me the current URL from my browser. System.out.println, that is what I'm just printing that URL, string concatenation. Thread.slip, this is Java's feature. I'm just waiting for 10 seconds and then closing my browser. Okay, I got a question from Kiran. What actually WebDriver is? Is it a class or anything else? So, very good question, Kiran. As we already learned first program of a WebDriver, maybe this is the right time to discuss what is WebDriver. So basically, when I refer a WebDriver as a tool, that means it is just an API which can actually control your browser. But technically speaking, when it comes to a programmatic implementation, WebDriver keyword or WebDriver word, it means it is an interface. It is not a class. For those who don't know what is interface, guys, please go back and revise your Java skills. So interface is basically like a class, but it has all the empty methods and it is only for implementation purpose. So all the abstract methods from interfaces are implemented. So when I say, I think we all discussed this, right? When I say WebDriver, this is an interface. I created object of Firefox driver. Firefox driver is a class which implements WebDriver. When I say Firefox driver class implements WebDriver, that means all the abstract methods, those are coming from WebDriver, are having, the body is provided to all that abstract method in Firefox driver class. So yes, I hope this will answer your question, Kiran. Alright, so what is remaining from the yesterday's session? And From yesterday's session, XPath, CSS selector, these two main topics were remaining from yesterday. Okay, Kiran, have you attended yesterday's session? Because I showed you, how to, what is I already explained what is WebDriver and how to identify is it a class or interface. So if not, you please visit that video. See, just put your mouse over a WebDriver. It will show you I. I stands for a class. That means it is a, sorry, I stands for an interface. And when you put mouse over on something, see, this is a class constructor. Let's take any other C. On system, when I say mouse over, it is showing me C in a green circle. So any other example like string itself is a class. So yeah, this is a class. Okay, fine. Let's move ahead. The XPath and CSS was remaining topic from yesterday, and WebDriver browser automation was remaining. So from that, what we learned yesterday is click and typing, getting URL of page was done. So we will learn few things today, that is get browser title. We also work with multiple elements. Um, work with multiple elements. We already learned, there is a method in driver dot find elements, and it returns list of web element. So, but still we will see more detailed example. Also few scenarios like user action, mostly right click, double click, context click, mouse over. These are a few user actions we will cover. I'm also targeting to cover switching browser windows, frames, and alerts. And once we are done with that, we will see how we can automate Chrome browser. Similar way you can automate for IE and Edge browsers. Not sure if we can get time for Chrome browser on this topic, but we will try to cover as much as we can. Let's move ahead to, let's start with the XPath topic. This is already done. Okay, so let's start with the XPath topic. XPath. XPath, like, we have a file path, right? A file path is starting with C drive, D drive or something, or if it is a Linux, it starts with the root, and it uniquely identifies that one file with the path, So XPath is similar concept. It is a path, but it is made for XML files. Excuse me. So XPath is made for XML files. So I hope everybody knows what is XML. XML having these tags, let's say, let's say this is my root tag, let's say students data, let's say student, and it has again another tag name, let's say Vikas, address, Okay, maybe roll number. This is just a sample example. I mean, XML has this basic structure. XML is not restricted to have some specific structure. You can have parent, child, any tag names, any nodes. So first student is completed. Let's start with second student. Let's say this name is having some attribute. Let's say class is equal to maybe 10th class, and this name is having class is equal to maybe, let's say, 11. Okay, so just a few sample thing I'm writing. Address, then roll number, maybe 101 again, because they are coming from a different class. I can have that, or let's keep 102 to avoid confusion. And that's a student. Like that, you can have a number of tags, and then finally at the end, students data, closing of students data tag. So let's say in this case, I wanted to locate this element. Okay, this is one of my element. So how do we write XPath? Is XPaths, there are two type of XPath. The first type is absolute XPath. Absolute XPath are starting with root tag. So in my case, my root tag is student data. So absolute XPath for locating, for identifying this element will be stud students data slash student. So first you need to locate this, then this one, and then this one. So student slash tag name is name, having attribute stands for @ stands for attribute, class is equal to class having 11, Roman 11. Okay, so this is an example of absolute XPath. If I don't write this, it will point to first name. Okay, if I just write this is also another example of writing XPath. If I am writing only this XPath, that means it will select both the name tags. Okay, I will cover this in more detail with Firebug and Firepath that we installed yesterday. That will be more clear example, but let's cover a few theory part. Maybe another type of XPath is relative XPath. Relative XPath starts with // okay. So you don't have to start with the root. You can actually start with // and directly write the tag name. Tag name is name, and the attribute @ class is equal to, sorry, C is in small case, yes, class equal to single quote xi. So this is example of a relative XPath. Or if you write // names, it is going to highlight, select both the or all name tags. All right. I have a question from Dhanashree. If one tag like name is having an attribute, then all the similar tags will have that attribute. Name in our example. Okay, first thing. name is not an attribute, name is the tag name and attribute is the class. Okay, so if the tag name is the same, like this example, if we are only writing XPath till name, so it is going to select all, it is going to match all the name tags. Okay, we will see how to tackle with that scenario as well. Let's take some real-time examples. Um, all right, okay. Let's take maybe red bus or any other example. I don't know why it is not working. It should work. Okay, let me try again. Oops. Oh, okay. My bad. Thanks, Vishal, for message. Uh, all right. So maybe take example. There is a from text or maybe something else. Okay, there is a user profile. I wanted to perform sign in. Okay, so let's say this is my scenario. I wanted to perform sign in, but before there are two things. The first thing is open website, then click on this user icon. It will show me a sign in link, and then I have to click on sign in or sign up button. So this is the user action that I want to simulate. So just this is Firebug. I just launched Firebug from here. I'm inspecting that user icon so that I can click on it. It is having ID is equal to I icon profile. Okay, so it is having ID. It is also having class. But guys, sometimes what happens is, though we get an ID, it may not be unique ID. It might be matching with multiple tags, like Dhanashri said. So, it is your job to confirm that this is unique or not. So I will first talk about XPath. Okay, XPath's basic syntax is syntax for relative. XPath is, this is common syntax. Okay, slash slash tag name square bracket at the rate attribute name equal to value. Okay, this is a basic syntax for any XPath. So tag name at the rate attribute name equal to value. Now in my case, let's say I want to locate this element, this element. So it is having ID. As I told you, the first preference should go with ID. So in this case, you should be using by dot ID and just copy paste that ID, I hyphen icon hyphen profile. So this should be your locator as it is having ID. But let's say you wanted to do it using XPath. Okay, so for XPath slash slash, what is the tag name, guys? Tell me, what is the tag name for this? No, it is not image. Yes, it is I. Can you see this tag name here? A little name here, just one character. It is I, and then space. Okay, so my tag name is I. So if I say slash slash I, it is going to select all the tags with name I. So let me show you how to do that. Go to Firepath, how to test it, go to Firepath, select XPath from here, and then just type slash slash I. Slash slash I will select all the I tags. So how many are those? How many are those? Can you see that count at the bottom left corner? To the bottom left corner, I think you should be able to see that count. So that count is just one. Awesome. So, if this is the case, I can also use by dot tag name, because the tag I is unique. Okay, is this is clear? So by dot tag name I can also use, because tag I is only one on page. So this is one way, but I wanted to use XPath, so this is the valid. Okay, and let's assume that if there are multiple eyes matching, now let's take example, let's go back here, and you wanted to click instead of this, you need to click on this. Let's say, this is the case. Don't click on this icon. Instead of that, click on this drop down list. So what is the HTML for that drop down list? See, it is sign in icon down. So this is an ID. It is having tag name as a div, but I can see there are multiple divs. Div is here, div is here, there is a div, there is a div, there is a div. Okay, there are so many div tags. Let's say you wanted to count how many div tags are there. / div, enter. How many div tags are there? 211 matching nodes found. 211 divs are there. So I will definitely not use this approach because it is having so many divs. So I will also add some extra filters, that is div. Let me go here and see. Okay, the ID is sign in icon down. Let's copy that. Going here, div, what is the syntax? Div is, first you need to write / tag name. So that is my div, then square bracket, right, at the rate stands for attribute. So attribute, the name of the tag, name of the attribute, my attribute name was ID. So ID is equal to, in single quote, I will just paste that expected value, the value for that ID. So this is going to be my locator. So let's try it out whether it is unique or what. Is it unique? Yes, I can see that it is just matching one node. So if this is the case, I can simply go with by dot ID and then press the ID. Not this one. Yeah, this is the perfect right way to identify a locator, by dot ID. Why? Because this ID is unique. So guys, let me tell you one thing. If you are using XPath only, you don't need to use ID, you don't need to use name, you don't need to use like tag name, class name. All this thing you can do with the help of XPath and CSS. Okay, but generally people use XPath as the last option due to its performance issue with the Internet Explorer, but the recent improvements in the browser, XPath is also having the same performance as that of the other locators. So it is okay to use XPath, but personally I don't recommend using an XPath, because if you really have some complex locator, until and unless don't go for XPath. Okay, so if you are able to locate element by ID, go with that. If ID is not there, name is there, go with name. If tag name is unique, go with that, but again I don't recommend using a tag name because there might be multiple tags, so many tags there. Then if it is having a unique class, then go with class name. If it is a hyperlink, then I would personally recommend use a link text to locate that element. If you're not sure the full link, if you don't have a full link for that hyperlink, you can use partial link text. This two option only for link. And then if any one of this is not helping you, you can go with CSS selector. This is the preference I will give, and the last preference I will give it to XPath. Okay, CSS selector is also powerful, but XPath has more capabilities than CSS. So there are some limitations of CSS. First we will learn XPath and then we will learn CSS. CSS stands for Cascade Style Sheet Selector. So right now we are learning XPath. XPath syntax is this. This is the relative XPath syntax. This is what I recommend. I do not recommend the absolute XPath. Anyone tell me why I am not recommending absolute XPath? Yes, Prashant, very good answer. We have to traverse all the way from the root till that element. Akhilesh, it is not because of performance. It takes from the root. Yeah, that is the main problem, Aparna, right? So, the problem with absolute XPath is, let's say, I wanted to find absolute XPath of some element. Let's say this is the element and I want to find absolute XPath. Just right click on it. Oh, not here. Go to FirePath, right click here, copy XPath. Can you see that copy XPath? I'm just copying XPath, put it into a notepad and see what is the XPath. Okay, this is relative XPath. Okay, just remove that dot. This is relative XPath, but I will show you absolute XPath. See, there is a button, generate absolute XPath. I don't need that. Okay, so let's inspect element. Let's say this is the element I want to inspect. I think this, I don't know why. Okay, can you see that XPath which is coming up here automatically? This is relative XPath. Now what is the meaning of this? This is the root element HTML. See, HTML is also XML. That is the reason we are able to use XPath on HTML, because HTML is derived from XML only. Yes, Dhanashree answer is absolutely right, because whenever there is a change in the site, that path will break. So for example, see, my locator is depend on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So there are 11 elements. If developer is doing a minor change, just removing any div, let's say this div is removed, assume. So this XPath, not only this XPath, all the XPath which I will be using in my application will break. So every time if developer is doing, even though he is doing a minor change, you will have to change locator for all your elements. That is the reason XPath, absolute XPath, needs very high maintenance, and that's the reason I do not recommend using an absolute XPath. Whereas relative XPath, I will just uncheck that. Let's refresh it once again. I don't know why it should show entire DOM. Okay, fine. So what I will do is let's inspect that element with the fire path. Okay. Can you see that XPath is automatically generated here? It is automatically generated. Okay. Only the difference is star. I will tell you what is star. So what I told you guys is XPath syntax is this. Okay. But if you are not sure what is the tag name, or if you think the tag name is not important, you can just write star. Star means any tag name. Okay. At the rate, the attribute name and value. Okay, this is most preferred XPath. Okay, question from Kiran. Then does XPath varies from browser to browser? Okay, good question, Kiran. Basically, if you have a general web page, it doesn't vary from browser to browser. Okay, XPath remains the same for different browsers. But nowadays the application is so complex. It has responsive UI. It has so many features. Have you observed that Google website into Chrome and Google website into Firefox is different. Have you observed that thing, Kiran? I will just show you. There is very minor change. We hardly notice a change, but yes, there is a change. Let me show. Okay, can you see this Google page? This is in Firefox, and this is a Google page in a Chrome. So you tell me, what is the difference? Okay, one difference is I already logged in a Chrome. That is why sign in button is not displayed. Can you see any differences? Yep, there is a microphone sign in a Chrome. Okay, uh, there are other changes as well, but I'm not able to find it out now. But there were some changes, but now they have unified their website for both the browser. But yes, this one thing is there. So sometimes it depends, you know, that website is uh, loaded based on your browser. Okay, maybe if you're using a Firefox, you might have a different UI. If you're using a Chrome, you might have a different UI. If you're using a Firefox, you might have a different UI. Whenever I say it is a different UI, that means the internal XML or internal HTML might be different. And if the HTML is going to differ, that means XPath will be differing. Okay, I think you got my point. 95% or I would say 98% XPath will be same, but there might be 2% chances that you know that website is different for a different browser. In that case, XPath is going to change. Okay, so let me close this. That's my application under test. All right, so guys, I hope this is clear. The tag name, and I think we will be spending this complete session in XPath and CSS only. That's fine, no problem. So what I was saying is XPath syntax is this. You can write a tag name and then square bracket attribute name equal to the value which is expected. Another thing is you can write star instead of tag name. So if you're not sure that which element you want to allocate, you can just simply write star on the tag name. Okay. So this is the mostly used XPath. So let's say this is my case. I'm using this ID is unique. I don't care what is my tag name. So I can just replace that div with a star. So this both are having now same meaning. All right, let's go and do some random test. Okay, see, let's look at any element, maybe this from. Okay, it is actually a label. Where is that? Yeah, it is a label. db move up. If I click on a from, okay, it just moves up. That is the reason they have given a class move up. Okay, so it has two classes. Can you see that? db space move up. Yes, it has two classes. Is it having id? Is it having name? No, but still, if you want to locate that label, what you can do is, I can simply write slash slash label, okay, and I will just hit my enter button. So it will tell me how many labels are there on my page. So there are basically 5 labels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, those are highlighted in a green border. I'm interested into this first label from that from label, right? Okay, it is not moved up, so it is just a db. All right, perfect. So you can say that I want a label which is having class equal to db. Enter. So let's see how many matching nodes. There are 2 matching nodes. It was initially 5. Now it is reduced to 2 because I added some additional filters. Okay. So let's say again this is not unique. I am interested into the first one. You know, I don't want both the elements to be highlighted. So let's check what is the difference, what is the uniqueness into this both the tags, guys. Tell me what is unique attribute you see here. Can you see this for equal to src, and this is what for equal to dest, that means destination. This is source and destination. I'm interested in the source, so you can write, go inside the square bracket, just write a and d at the rate the attribute for, attribute name is for, equal to single quotes, the expected value was src. I will just hit enter. Now how many elements are matching? One matching node. So this way you can have multiple and conditions for matching the element. Yes, Sujay, you have any question? For attribute, I'm not sure. Maybe this is used internally by the JavaScript. I mean, these developers are using some library, and for that it is required. Sometimes, these are not standard HTML attribute, but just because of some third-party library developers are using, these attributes are added. So it may not be a standard, I'm not sure, but it may not be a standard attribute, but it will be helpful. It is required for that development environment which is required, which is needed. All right, so let's move on. / label class is equal to TP and at the rate for equal to SRC. This was one example. Let's move on to some other examples. Let's take, I want to look at that logo. So it is having what? Is it having ID? No. Is it having a name? No. It is having what? Class. So I will take that class. Okay. Guys, can you see that one thing? Whenever I'm inspecting, let's say fire path is open and I'm inspecting a locate element. So it is giving me directly XPath. Okay. Can you see that? This is automatically generated. Okay. Guys, let me tell you very important thing. Never ever use this auto generated XPath. And the same applies for a CSS. If you select a CSS, delete this, just go and select that. Sorry, my bad. Okay, see, if you are using a CSS, still it is going to give you, but again I'm suggesting never ever use this automatically generated XPath or a CSS. There are many problems with this auto generated XPath. Now let's take example. The first problem is this. Oops, what happened? Let's inspect, go to red bus. Oops, there is something wrong. Let me reload the page. All right. So see, this is the element. Okay, it is having automatically generated XPath. I'm saying that do not use this XPath. Why? See, this is first tag. So it is saying that there is a tag, okay, which is having ID is equal to RH header. Inside that tag, there is a div, okay, again there is another div, and there is a tag. Sorry, my bad. And there is a tag. So it means your XPath is dependent on 1, 2, 3, and 4 tags, okay, which is not recommended. Again, the same problem that we learned about the absolute XPath. The more XPath you are having, the more elements you are having in a XPath is creating more dependencies on the HTML structure. Okay, so for example, this is the header element whose having ID is equal to RH header. Inside that there is a div tag. Inside that there is another div tag, and inside that there is a tag. So this is the meaning of this XPath. This is relative XPath. It starts with // okay, but still do not use this. Instead of that, read HTML and write your own XPath. Okay, so I'm just writing my own XPath / star, that means any tag name which is having attribute as class is equal to red bus hyphen logo. Okay, so can you see that one matching node? I'm only using one element instead of having dependency on multiple tags. So this should be the right XPath locator. Okay, basically even I will not prefer to go with the XPath. If I'm locating element with a class, you should simply write, you know, this locator by dot class name, right? So, but yeah, if you wanted to go with the XPath, this is the right XPath instead of relying that automatically generated XPath. Okay. Suyash's question for attribute stands for, so if it is okay to use this such attribute to find XPath. Yes, Suyash, it is absolutely okay to use such a locator, though it is not a standard HTML, because the development technology is not going to change very frequently. You know, let's say if I am using ZCOS or Google WebKit for developing my website, I will not be switching Google WebKit maybe, you know, once in a year or something like that. You know, it will be done when you wanted to again redesign and redevelop that application from a scratch. Then only I will be changing the development technology. So you can completely rely on the such kind of locators. Okay, fine. Next, I think let's move on to next. Let's take example, some random element example, maybe a search button. Guys, this website is having, you know, IDs and classes everywhere. So see, there is an ID. So you can locate this element by ID. Okay, there is a class attribute also. You can look at this element. So this is pretty much easier website to locate. Okay, so what I will do is I will take some other example, maybe a little bit complicated example. Which one would you like to go? You have any suggestions, guys? Or I can take yahoo.com. Okay, let me take yahoo.com. I don't see any suggestions. All right, so I can see a sign-in link. Let's try that. Okay, see, guys, let's say I wanted to read HTML. Okay, go to the HTML tab instead of Firepath. So if I have Firepath open, it will try to give me that ready-made XPath. Okay, ready-made XPath or CSS, whatever is the selected. But if I wanted to read HTML, I prefer to use only HTML tag. Let's say there is a finance. So it is having E tag. There is something is there inside E tag. It has some I tag with the text is finance. Let's take this mail icon. See, it is having something like this. Okay, right, see, you don't see directly IDs here. There's a class. Okay, and class is having so many value. So I will tell you, I will just copy paste that class and here. The class is having this many value. So when I say class is equal to pos a zf28px wx100, so that means this is one class, this is class 2, this is class t3, this is class 4, this is class 5, and this one is class 6. The class names are separated via space. So you can use by dot class name, any of this class name which is unique. Let's say IC is unique, you can just put that directly here. This is the best way. But if you wanted to use class name in a XPath, you will have to write syntax like this, slash slash any tag name whose attribute class is equal to, you will have to give the full value. You cannot choose any one value from here in case of XPath. Okay, this is only for XPath. So slash slash star class at the rate class is equal to the full value you need to specify. All right, so But if you are locating with the class, I would prefer to go with this option. Just give whichever is the unique. If you have to take multiple class names, then you can go with CSS selector. In this specifically for classes and IDs. I will come to CSS selector. Maybe we can have a separate topic on discussing CSS selector. Let's choose any other element, maybe this text box. See, this is input ID is equal to something. Class is equal to, again, this is very lengthy. The class is ending at here. Okay, name equal to P, autofocus, autocomplete, and these are few options. Can you see name equal to P? Yes, it is having a name equal to P. So in this case, I will prefer to go with either ID. There is ID, or I can, I can recommend using a name equal to P. So, but still, you can go ahead and write XPath also. So the XPath, if you wanted to use name in XPath, the syntax will be / star @ name equal to P. Okay, this will be the syntax if I wanted to locate this element. All right, just give me a second, guys. Okay, so there is a question from Akhilesh and Prashant. Can we take example of dynamic XPath or a table like chat window? Prashant's example, when to go for HTML tab and Firepath tab. Okay, first I will answer Prashant's question. When to go for HTML and Firepath tab. So HTML tab. Let's say I wanted to read HTML. Okay, in that case, go with the HTML tab. But Firepath tab, though it is giving you a ready-made XPath, which I don't recommend. Okay, what I personally recommend using a Firepath is only for validating the XPath that you are writing. Is it valid? So let's say I wanted to check whether the name equal to P, is it unique or what. So I will create this XPath, go here, paste it, and hit enter, and just see how many matching nodes are there. So for this purpose, I will recommend using Firepath. Do not use Firepath for generating the automatically XPath and CSS just to copy paste and put it into your script. Okay, about the dynamic XPath or a table, Akhilesh, I would like to conduct a separate session for that, because it will be taking some time to tackle with the dynamic XPath and the table. Can you please maximize your browser window? Yeah, I would definitely do that. All right, so these are few examples on using XPath. The XPath is not only limited to that. There are few more things that is there in XPath. For example, let's say / tag1 / tag2. This means select a tag2 which is immediate child of tag 1. Okay, these are few things that you need to take care. Let's say I wanted to find all the div tags which are present inside a div, all div tags which are present inside a div. So just write / div. It is going to select the parent, and then I will write /div. So enter. So how many div tags are there? So there are 180 div tags which are present inside a div. So you can see this div tag is present inside this. This is a div tag present inside this. This is another div tag present inside this. So those who are like immediate child of the div, this will get selected. Let's say I wanted to say that all anchor tags which are present inside li. Okay, li, that means list, and I wanted to say all anchor tags which are present inside a li, but it may not be an immediate child. So the syntax is /li /e // stands with, you can skip some number of tags in between, and just check whether a tags is present somewhere inside a li. It may not be an immediate child. So all A tags present under li tag may not be immediate child. You can say that descendants also, all descendants, so okay. So let's try that. If all li slash slash a, so is there any a anchor tag which is present inside li? Yes, there is. So you can see that this is li and there is a, in this case this is the immediate child, but in total there are 102 matching nodes. If I say that all immediate child of li, just remove that one slash and see how many are those. Those are only 75. Okay, but when I say all anchor tags which are inside, all descendants a tag which are inside li, those are 102. Okay, fine. So this is one thing. There is another thing. Let's say I wanted to skip few element in between, in between the li and a, you can use this syntax. For every element you can write this syntax. Let's say li which is having some id equal to something abc. Okay, then a tag which is having again name equal to or alt equal to pqr. So this is also a valid syntax. So what I told you is this tag name slash uh, I told you this, right? Tag name slash tag name square bracket at the rate attribute name equal to value. This you can have here as well as here, or if you have some nesting also, you can go ahead and add that. Remember, slash slash means anywhere in, anywhere having that element, and single slash means immediate child. I hope this is clear now. So guys, I will share you another video which is more detailed on XPath, but due to time constraint I will have to take a hard stop after 5 minutes. So but yeah, I will definitely share another video on detailed explanation on XPath. All right. uh, is there is few more things like siblings. Siblings are there. You need to learn. There is following sibling, preceding element, following element. Okay, there is again index numbers is also important. For example is uh, let's take example. I wanted to select the second child div tag. Okay, now selecting a second se okay, selecting second child div tag, that means just write, okay, it is a div tag slash slash div. This will highlight all the div tags in your page. If you say square bracket and without writing at the rate, if you say number, okay, if I say div1, that means the first child. If I say 2, that means second child. So let's try this. I will show you how it works. Okay, how many second child elements are there? Second child div, there are 38 matching nodes. So can you see that this is a div tag, it is under a div tag. Okay, this is first div and this is second child, this is first child of body. Okay, maybe let's go with another example. See, this is the parent div, it is having first child as this div and this is the second child. That is the reason that square bracket 2 stands for, it is the child number. Another example is here. So see, this is a div tag. Okay, this one is also div tag. This is the first sibling, this is second sibling, first child, second child, and who is the parent of that? There is a parent is td. Okay, let's say you wanted to say that the second child inside a td, because right now there are 38 matching nodes, so you can say that td slash div square bracket 2. So it will only select all that div tags, the second child div tag of parent TD. So only one matching node is getting selected. Can you see that? So this is the div tag. This is second child, this is first child, this is second child, and who's the parent? The parent is div tag. Okay. So this is another example from XPath. There are some XPath access AXES, I think. I'm not sure. Access. So I wanted to say that locate element who's containing ID something, locate element which is containing, let's say, YUI underscore 3 underscore 18 in XPath. ID of ID in ID, sorry. Okay, can you see that below? There are some elements which are containing this thing. Okay, so I wanted to select all the elements which are containing YUI underscore 3 underscore 18 in their ID field. So for that we write / any tag name. Okay, so see, if I write @ID equal to, this is exactly matching. So that ID should be exactly equal to this. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't see. Lost on the guys, can you see my screen now? To see my screen, guys? I'm not sure that you're seeing my screen. Pooja, Rishikesh, Paresh, Kiran. Yes, okay, that's great. So I was saying that I wanted to find all the element which are containing YUI3 underscore 18 in ID attribute. So if I write XPath something like this / any tag name which is having ID equal to YUI underscore 3 underscore 18, that means this is going to do exact match. Okay, this is exact match. I don't want to say exact match. What I wanted to say is that ID should be containing uh, this that given string. Okay, so let's say any tag name. So there is a XPath access method contains, and it takes two parameter. Contains. You don't have to write @. Is for attribute. Okay, contains is not an attribute. So I wanted to say that contains, but where? Okay, so I'm saying @ID. So check whether that attribute ID is containing this string. So YUI underscore 3 underscore 18. So this XPath access will return me all the elements, all the tags which are having YUI underscore 3 underscore 18 in their ID. Okay, so let's go here and try that. See how many tags are matching. 123 tags are matching. Okay, so you can make it more unique way of it. It depends, but it is just a generalized example how you can locate element which is having some text in their ID. Let's say you wanted to say that find an element which is starting with something, so / star starts hyphen with. So what you wanted to starts with? So let's say I wanted to start with its class should start with something, let's say ABC. So this means select all the elements whose class will start with ABC character. Okay, let's cover up quickly few things, guys. You can also use text. Let's say there is a a text. Let's just say Sehwag, and maybe I can take others many Anupam Kher. So let's say I wanted to locate element which is having a text. Locate element having text, having given text. Okay, given text. So we write XPath like this, / star, that means any tag name whose text, opening bracket, close bracket, okay, this is also XPath access, is equal to the expected value. Okay, so this is also one variety, one variation of how you can write a XPath. So see, I'm just saying enter. It is no matching because that Anupam here is not getting matched. Let's see what is the HTML. See, I wanted to read HTML, so switch to HTML tab and then inspect. Okay, don't use Firepath. So yeah, this is my HTML. See, can you see that there is a little space here? Okay, just because of this space, it is not getting matched. On web page, I don't see any space, but in HTML, there is a space before A character. Anupam, A. Yeah, sure, sure. So I will share that text file also. So at the inside this text there is a small space here. So if I write a space, okay, let's give a space before A character and see. Okay, is it matching? Yes, it is matching. So it is very important to read the HTML and then create your locator. Okay, so we might sometimes miss spaces here and there, and that may create a problem. So read HTML carefully before creating any locator. So this is one, but there is more advanced XPath which can actually ignore your spaces. The normalized space is access that you can use. I will just give you a hint. Normalized spaces is another access that you can take help. I think I don't need to take any example. You can go and find out more information about it. All right, so this is it for today, guys. Let me go back and revisit the topic. I plan to cover up many topics here, but we talked about only XPath today due to, because this is very important topic. I feel XPath and CSS selector both are very important. So we will continue it tomorrow, same time. If you have any questions, please post your questions on Skype. I may take some time to reply. Thank you for attending this session. I will just stop recording now.